All right, there. This is Domani Home Design Assistant training. We are reviewing the actual design process that I have used for, I don't know, 20 years to put together a custom home plan and the whole construction documents with it. So the first thing I always start with is after the extraction from the clients to get the whole project goals outlined and identified is just to determine what the room associations need to be. And a lot of times this is really helpful to be done using a bubble diagram. So you just sketch out really quickly a quick bubble diagram. Says, like the dining is here and the kitchen is here and the great room is here, entry, master utility space, whatever. So we do some quick room associations with bubble diagrams. Sometimes I've got it pretty locked in and I kind of have like a visual in my head, whatever works for you, just to get those room associations figured out, like which rooms need to be near each other. And then I always am thinking about what is the end goal for the front elevation. So what do we want that look to be? What style are they going for? Is it going to be modern? Is it going to be a farmhouse? Like, what is it going to be? And figure out what that front elevation potentially will look like. And with those two things in mind, then we sketch the layout. And we're always trying to think of, like, how can we create boxes in the layout? So like from the front entry and the stairs, that's a box with the great room in the back, and it creates this contained box from front to back. The reason for that is to make it as easy on the trusses as possible. So the trusses can come in trusses and we don't have to worry about hand framing any of the roof. It also will help us as we work through getting the whole layout onto even 2-foot increments. So yeah, sketch layout in boxes, and we always want to consider the bearing walls. Consider where the bearing is at all points, either exterior walls or interior walls, as early on, especially with 2-story designs. So we want to make sure that those bearing walls on the main floor that support the second floor are lining up with our bearing walls in the basement. And then we allow like about, I don't know, anywhere from 3 to 5 iterations with the clients back and forth. So we'll show them that initial concept. They'll give us some quick feedback. We'll make some changes and we'll get some more feedback until we've refined it after several different iterations. Just so we can explore that where the current main layout will, like if we have the stairs here on the main floor, where will that take us in the basement? Where will that land us on the second floor? Will that work? Does the mechanical room work if the stairs are where they are? That sort of thing. Will we land at a wall, with the stairs in a certain location, or are the rooms the right size? So we allow those iterations first with the main floor before we start exploring the basement or the second floor layout. Once we've got a pretty good concept, but it's not locked in, we do want to explore the basement and second floor so that we do catch those things that aren't going to work out as before everybody's fallen in love with the main floor. And then we realize, oh man, we've got to go back to the main floor and change things up because it doesn't work on these other levels. Once we've explored those other levels and we start concepts for those, we can start adding the roof to it, so that we can make sure that, hey, this is going to yield a front elevation that the clients are super happy with. It can be hard. It can require the clients to utilize a little bit of creativity and imagination, so we don't spend a ton of time in the 3D world, just spinning our wheels, showing them concepts that we just like show them, hey, this is the general concept for the roof. Is that looking like it's something that's going to work out? We're looking at it mostly for structure, not necessarily for aesthetics quite yet. So that's where we get to where we just like can solidify the main floor. We want to just see if the key components in place are going to work out for the look and for the flow. I have to sneeze. Sorry, not even going to take that out. But next we would go to the basement layout. We want to lay the basement out according to the client's needs and wants, and we don't want to forget the mechanical room and the stairs and the closets and the flue chases. I think that a lot of times people forget that they need to store vacuum or blankets or linens. And so we don't end up a lot of times with enough closets in the home designs. So we always want to make sure that we've taken those into consideration. Most clients don't even think about their vacuum, quite honestly. And so it's super easy to forget. And then mechanical rooms are so easy to forget. But we do want to make sure, and we'll get into some of this a little bit later, make sure mechanical rooms are away from stairs wherever possible. We'll spell that out a little bit more. But basement, you need to consider the client's needs and wants, mechanical rooms, stairs, closets, flue chases, and still keep in mind that roof and the windows for the aesthetics. And then also how it might be fitting on the property. Is there slope or grade or anything that we need to take into consideration? Will there be a walkout? So like a back wall might be a fully framed wall instead of a foundation wall. So we'll want to keep some things like that in mind. Once we've laid out the basement and the second floor to along those different considerations, then we kind of get the buy-off from the clients. We get them to sign up on the layout, and we let them know, hey, this is the point where we're going to start separating our drawings, and they aren't going to be linked anymore. They're not going to, you know, it's going to be much more difficult to make a change from here on out. So if a change is made to particularly exterior walls and or bearing walls, but especially exterior walls, if any changes are going to happen, they need to happen now and not later. Later they can happen, we won't say no, but it will likely come at an hourly rate and it won't be included in the square foot pricing. But once we get them to sign off, then we can start adding the electrical and the flooring. And this is when the progress payment comes. At this point, we are more than halfway through the plan development. And so we submit invoices for a progress payment at this point. And then from there, we can just really go bananas with the back end development, developing the foundation plan, the floor and roof framing plans, the bird's eye view, 2D elevations, 3D renderings that are much more detailed. And we'll probably, quite frankly, be working with the clients at this point to really, you know, like get a little bit more specific on their 3D renderings. Once they see what we can do, they like to get a little bit specific about colors and materials and different things like that. And we'll give them a little bit of opportunity to make those changes so it starts to feel like the home that they're going to build. And obviously the more skilled we are and at doing the 3D renderings, then the quicker we can be at that. And so we can dive into those services a little bit more in depth. Our goal ultimately is to have really awesome 3D renderings that the clients feel like is a true representation of the home that they want to build, without yet working with a designer or somebody like identifying 100% what their color is or what the material is going to be or the rock or whatever. Okay, so that's 2D elevations and 3D renderings. We'll then put together the cross sections. And at this point, we like to check really carefully at and look those cross sections over thoroughly to make sure that we don't have any structural challenges or problems or inconsistencies. It's a great place to catch any errors that might be in place that we just hadn't thought through yet. It'll open up maybe some areas that we hadn't, thought through the whole build out process of that particular area. So it can help us to like tweak a few things. And then we'll finish the site plan, assemble the plan set, and there's my doggy. And then we'll finish the plan set and deliver it to the clients. That is the whole design process. And We'll go into some more specifics in a different training.